The development of Inside Out 3, the eagerly awaited follow-up to the beloved animated series that explores the complex emotions of growing up, has been formally confirmed by Disney Pixar. As Riley enters adulthood, the third movie promises to take viewers on an even deeper emotional journey, complete with new and more complicated feelings. Love, which has a gentle and kind disposition, is the result of Riley's love for everyone around her, as well as Friendship Island and Family Island. As Riley enters adolescence, the concept of love lingers in her thoughts and materializes when she falls in love for the first time in high school. Riley is ultimately assisted by Love's composed and grown-up manner in navigating the difficulties of friendships as well as romantic relationships. Now, Riley's First Date, the short film that came out after the first movie, gives us a preview of what Riley's dating might entail. However, once she begins to truly fall for someone, it would be intriguing to watch the emotion come and cause some mayhem. It would be intriguing to observe whether love is a single emotion or if it takes the form of a variety of emotions, because there are so many distinct types of love. If Riley doesn't experience a period of having crushes, can she really be regarded as a teenager? Yeah! Say hello to Obsession. She makes a lot of noise. She is vivacious. Every cute guy that passes by makes her eyes sparkle. Since Obsession is characterized by rashly entering into situations, it is the least favorite emotion by embarrassment. The other emotions are constantly on edge because of her erratic behavior, which makes it impossible to predict who she will become fixated on. Fortunately, the only emotion that can deal with her is love, but love can also be the cause of obsession, and that would be chaotic.
I'm anxiety. I am just such a huge fan of yours.
It goes without saying that as we age, we begin to regret things we did not do and opportunities we missed greatly. And it would be a fantastic idea to investigate in an upcoming third movie. Perhaps Riley won't grow up to play hockey professionally. Her days are spent daydreaming about what might have been because she is confined to a desk job. This is somewhat explored in the first Incredibles movie with Mr. Incredible, but it would be interesting to see how her feelings would respond to her settling into a mediocre life.
This should be illegal.
Self-loathing is a real emotion that people experience as they age, much like anxiety. It would be intriguing to watch Riley develop resentment towards herself, just as it would be to watch her fall in love. Maybe a great deal of regret causes this emotion to surface. Perhaps she gets more anxious. In any case, I envision this character as a complete villain if it were to appear in a sequel. Unlike anger or sadness, it's more difficult to control. Maybe it's more sinister form of the latter, imprisoned in one of those vaults that the sequel introduces us to. To prevent Riley's brain from completely destroying itself, all of its characters must work together. This could be Riley's mental version of the Avengers. Give it some thought.
I'm the worst. Oh no.
Despite the fact that suppression is not an emotion, I believe it would be intriguing to investigate the potential outcomes of Riley repressing her feelings. It would also be intriguing to witness it occur as a result of a significant shock or even grief, in my opinion. Perhaps it's the death of a relative. Once more, perhaps it's the knowledge that she might never play hockey professionally. In any case, it would be interesting to see how Pixar handles Riley's feelings. It raises the question of who would be in charge if Riley chooses to repress her feelings. Would the emotional console fail her? Would a higher power lock all the emotions back in those vaults once more? There are countless concepts for possible follow-ups. One of the initial feelings that was eventually omitted because it appeared to be too sinister to be included was guilt. The fact that the purple character was intended to be attached to a heavy emotional backpack or a metal-chained ball is extremely creative. They feel as though the entire world is resting on their shoulders, which is exactly how guilt feels. Guilt teaches Riley how to make amends and correct her mistakes, saving her priceless relationships with her family and her friends as her adolescent journey is full of conflicts. Growing up, Riley would need to manage her success with dealing with pride and emotion that can give both positive and negative effects. On the other hand, overconfidence can result in arrogance and damaged relationships. It would be intriguing to examine how Riley strikes a balance between humility and self-worth in light of this duality. Riley's primary emotion at first was thought to be pride, which replaced disgust. However, pride was eventually cut from the movie to make the plot simpler. Fear was supposed to be green, but in the end, his theme color, purple, was given to him. Peace is another emotion that emerges as we get older. Who doesn't enjoy a little peace and quiet, especially after a demanding day at work or study? Peace will be one of the only feelings Riley seeks out in the midst of life's chaos as she gets older, particularly if she decides to pursue a career in the fast-paced and dynamic sport of professional hockey. Peace would serve as a necessary counterbalance to the more erratic emotions of anger, fear, and anxiety. Hope is a feeling that encourages optimism and tenacity, which would balance anxiety by emphasizing the possibility of success and motivating Riley to maintain hope in the face of adversity. Throughout the film's development, a variety of emotions were taken into consideration, including hope. However, when the number of emotions were lowered to 5, Pete Docter discovered that Hope's upbeat disposition was actually a result of happiness. As a result, Hope's personality was removed and combined with Joy's, who had a less agreeable personality in the early iterations. Hope is an emotion that can even support Joy during these difficult adolescent times, so hopefully the third film will produce a much better version. The emotion of jealousy also made it to the first showing of Inside Out before being cut. The final cut of the movie would have featured Envy, who would have looked a lot like this character. There would have needed to be a distinction if this character had remained because of the overlap that would have rendered jealousy unnecessary. Even though Envy was adorable and well-meaning, jealousy could have been a much more sinister force. In Inside Out 2, Envy verged on admiration. Although she didn't express any overt negativity, it was obvious that if things were taken too far, they would quickly turn sour. At the same time, jealousy is usually a big green monster. Riley may have grown envious that her two closest friends were attending a different high school while she was excluded. Or maybe if someone else had been selected for the hockey team, she would have gotten hostile, but she didn't. Like anxiety, jealousy is an emotion that teens find difficult to control, so it should be included in Inside Out 3. The word Schadenfreude is a German word for pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. Undoubtedly, if this character had made it to Inside Out 2, it would have been entertaining. Schadenfreude might not have been a constant character, but rather one that appeared sporadically, as is the case of Riley's friend's hilarious hockey fall. In addition to the fact that he wouldn't have been very significant to the plot, Schadenfreude is a potentially cruel emotion. When it came to choosing between Schadenfreude and nostalgia, it makes sense that Pixar would have gone with the latter choice, since the subsequent sentiment hinted at the kinds of changes Riley would eventually have to face. One new character only appears briefly, even though Inside Out 2's new emotions play a significant role in the plot. Nostalgia, an old emotion that enjoys thinking back on the good old days and better times, is one of Riley's newly personified emotions. The idea of nostalgia is humorous, and the character is used for a few clever jokes in the movie. She plays a very small part though, as the other emotions maintain that Riley isn't yet prepared for nostalgia. Rather, Riley will not be able to fully feel the emotion for a few more years, until she graduates from high school and attends her best friend's wedding. Nostalgia is funny, but maybe the franchise isn't ready for her yet. Even so, nostalgia's brief sequence are sufficient to establish an important detail. If nostalgia is waiting for the right opportunity to emerge in a back room, then there must be even more emotions back there. Inside Out 3 is the ideal chance to make them come to life as Riley develops further. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.